Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Kat. I'm a wife, a homeschool mom, and an avid reader. It is a new week, and so I am going to be starting a new vlog. And this vlog's kind of theme is the romances on my January 2024 TBR. I have 3 books that I am going to try to finish, hopefully before next Sunday. We'll see how that goes. But the first book I have is Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. In this one, we have the Bennet family, and the Bennets have been blessed with a lot of daughters and no sons. So as parents in this time, in the early or late 1800s, their main priority is trying to make sure that their daughters are wed to respectable men who have good income, who can take care of their families. And so we kind of are going to follow the different, or this family, and specifically Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, and watch their love story unfold. So I am going to be reading this, and I will check in around the 1/3 mark through this book and give an update of how I'm feeling, especially with as I have totally lost the word. Especially with how much I'm worried about if I'm going to like this book or not. I don't feel that you can teach British literature without a Jane Austen book, and everyone says that this one's the best. I have read Sense and Sensibility in the past and did not like it. So I am going to read this one in hopes that I at least enjoy it a little bit. So I will check in later. Hello, everyone. So I am now over 1/3 of the way through, I think, yeah, because that's, so the audiobook I'm listening to, the first part was just fine, because it's 1 through 22. But this copy of Pride and Prejudice actually divides the book into 3 parts, and I'm on chapter 30 according to my audiobook. And some of the reason why I got off from the book was I went to the gym this morning. It was the first time in the gym in a really long time. I went ahead and got a membership for right now anyway. Since it's so cold outside, I can't really go out, but I should be moving my body to help long term with my fibromyalgia. It doesn't help me so much in the moment, so if I'm having a flare-up, it does absolutely nothing for me to go to the gym during a flare-up, causing me more pain. But I have noticed this afternoon that while I was a little groggy and wanted a nap about 1:30, I took a little micro nap here in the chair, maybe 15 minutes, if that long. And I'm feeling a lot more clear-headed right now than I have been even when I took naps. I took like 2-3 hour naps on my down days. So I am counting that as a win for today anyway. The only thing is my husband, because the gym is actually in the mall, he's asked that I not go in the evenings or at night because it's not really the safest environment. So my big time to go anyway was planning on doing it in the mid mornings before lunch. And right now that's worked out really well for me today. So, but while walking on the treadmill, I was listening to Pride and Prejudice. I have figured out what I don't really care for with Jane Austen's writing. If you watched my favorites of the year, for 2023, all of my books were very plot-driven, world-driven books. This is a very character-driven book. And so I feel like nothing is happening. They're in one manor, and then they go to someone else's house, and then they go to someone else's house. And I'm like, I don't care whose house you're at. Yes, Bingley has left the manor and gone back to town. Who cares? I mean, here's the difference for me. If it's real life, and I was in this space of Elizabeth or Jane, I would totally care that my sister's heart got broken. But it's a book. I read books to escape real life drama. And Jane Austen writes incredible real life drama. So I can see why it's a classic. I can see why it's beloved. I can see why I feel a strong need to teach it for British literature. But it is not my favorite kind of reading. So I'm kind of slogging through it a little bit. Yesterday I read a total of 3 pages. Yes, 3 pages. And I'm counting it as a win. Now today I have probably, have I gotten that far? No, I haven't gotten that far. I've probably read about 50-ish pages today. Or listened to 50-ish pages. So I am totally happy with my progress today. Sorry for the fur. But I'm going to keep reading. My house is empty right now. And so I'm going to keep reading a little bit and try to get a little more done. My original plan today totally failed. Well, I had a hiccup. I actually thought I lost my intro clip to this vlog because my camera was being wonky. So I had recorded an intro to do a video and was going to do video today. And I had to scrap all of that because I had time, my time was limited. So it's all good. I'll figure out a different video for the end of this week. But I am going to get to reading and I will check in later. Hello everyone. So I am now 2/3 of the way through Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. And I am I'm having interesting feelings with this one. I've actually highlighted a few things as I've gone through, and one of the things I highlighted was with Darcy's letter, and I just felt that Elizabeth adjusts her thinking and how she feels very quickly. And some of that may be the time. But she just had one man tell her one thing, another man tells her kind of the opposite, and she just blindly follows whoever she hears. And there's some justification in that as you're reading it, but I'm having a little bit trouble suspending belief with that personally, but other than that, things are kind of picking up. I definitely know where I'm at from seeing the movies or seeing the different adaptations of this, and so looking forward to the rest of the book so that I can move on to other books this weekend. I will check in at the end. Hello everyone. So I have finished Pride and Prejudice. I actually finished it last night. I definitely enjoy part 3 way more than parts 1 and 2. It's a little more plot driven. But I definitely know from reading it that the first 2 parts are necessary. It's just getting through that part for me that's the hardest. But enjoyed it overall. Is it going to be a favorite of mine of the month? No. Do I see its worth? Yes. So, Pride and Prejudice done. And ideas are percolating for teaching this next year. And that brings me, now that that's done, to my next book. It is currently like 33 degrees outside. So really, really cold. I'm in flannel jammies just to try to stay warm. Oh, and I have coffee brewing. So, but since it's so cold today, I am going to start Icebreaker. This one we have a hockey player and a hockey team and a figure skating team end up having to share the ice, and our 2 main characters, Anastasia, who is a figure skater, and Nate, kind of, it sounds like they start out as enemies to lovers situation, and Anastasia ends up having to ask Nate for help for her stuff, or for her performance. So I am going to start this, and I will check in. This one is longer than some of the others I've read. It's 430-ish pages. So I might do check-ins every quarter. I'm not sure yet. I'll see how many pages it is. But I'll give you an update on what I feel when I get there. And I'm gonna go read, eat some breakfast, drink some coffee, and I'll check in later. Alright, so I am a fourth of the way through Icebreaker. So far, we have this hot-cold relationship going on. it's kind of an interesting dynamic, I guess. I am enjoying the book. It is a lot spicier than I expected. So I'm having to limit my reading just a little bit at certain times. I listened while my daughter was at set day, and then I had to wait until we were here at the barn feeding the horses to keep listening to the audiobook. I can listen, or I can read the book itself and be fine. But really enjoying it so far. Originally, I kind of said it would seem to be that it was going to be a enemies to lovers, and it's not even really that. So it starts out like their introduction to each other. She thinks he's hot. He thinks she's hot. And everything is fine until all of a sudden it's not. Some events happen which cause there to only be one rink that everyone can practice at for both hockey and the figure skating. And to kind of ease the blow of this, the hockey team puts off or throws a party. She meets him at the party, and he almost immediately lies to her. The lie doesn't go on very far before she figures it out, and she's pissed at him and doesn't trust him anymore. Is basically where this book is. So she can't trust him, and that's completely understandable. So in not being able to trust him, sorry, the light was distracting me. In not being able to trust him, she kind of doesn't want to have much to do with him. And so things go on, and they do end up being, as she calls it, he's on probation. So lots of fun going on. And we have just gotten kind of to the first real moment where you think things are going to start turning direction. And he again does something that makes her mad. And so in this, it's kind of this more of miscommunications going on throughout the whole thing. But I am having a lot of fun. I'm going to keep reading. I probably won't update again until the 2/3 mark. That's what I have marked here, because with romances, I feel like the best, or the kind of, without giving any spoilers, the first fourth is fine. And then by the 2/3 point, I can kind of make a guess of where I'm going to stand as far as rating, unless something drastic happens. So, I'm going to keep reading, and I will check in soon. Hello, everyone. So, I am now 2/3 of the way. I'm actually up here. My bookmark fell out. Or my regular bookmark. Stop trying to eat my bread. Go lay down. So 2/3 of the way through, really enjoying this. This book is kind of up and down, as far as following the normal progression that we have. Our couple gets together, breaks up, gets together, hits, and breaks up as two. Anyway, they get together, they break up, they get together, things fall apart. And then she starts to put her life back together. And like all of this, a lot of this I expected in the last third of the book. So to have it so early is leaving me going, what's going to happen next? So I'm going to jump back in because we are at the meet the parents stage. And so I want to find out what's going to happen here. And I'm fully expecting another fall apart moment in the book. Because it's not really a romance book without that toward the end that looks like they're not going to get there happily ever after. So I'm going to get back to it and I will check in at the end of the book. Hello everyone. So I have finished Icebreaker. This one was really cute. There are some trigger warnings to be aware of if you are interested in reading this one. There is some working through food negativity and kind of the diet culture, dealing with toxic relationships, but even with those, I feel that they're handled really well, and that the main character kind of figures out what is going on and how to make things better, and kind of moving through that. This didn't follow the kind of traditional timeline that we see in romance novels, so it was a nice turn of events, and I really had a great time with it. Is it a 5-star for me? I'm gonna say no. 4.5. Yes, I really had a great time with this, but this is not. It's not one of my favorites for the month. The writing is great. The difficult topics are handled well. And the relationship is fun. But it definitely wasn't completely blow me out of the water. So lots of fun banter. One of my criticisms, I guess, is the changing of nickname. I don't know if I missed something or what, but it kind of goes to from a more personal nickname to kind of a general one for anyone, and I just didn't really enjoy that backtracking, but otherwise had a great time with it. So that leads me, well, come on, I have a kitty cat, leads me to my next read, and it's the Vernon City series, book 1, The Lazarus. In this one we have June and Caden, and June is coming into the underbelly of Burnham, and Caden is kind of like introducing her to everything that was dark and gritty and raw. So I'm going to start this in just a little bit. It's going to be a little more, I think, of a start-stop for me, especially today and tomorrow, because I don't have an audiobook for this one, so I can't listen when I go to the gym, and that's probably a good thing, because it would limit me on when I could listen as well, just because I'm pretty sure there's adult material in this one as well. So I am going to get my bags packed for tomorrow and then get reading, and I will check in soon. Hello everyone. So I am a fourth of the way through The Lazarus. This one we're following June and Caden. June is this detective. She kind of looks at life through a lens of idealism, I guess. She kind of is upset with some of her coworkers because they don't really like her, or they feel that she got promoted wrongfully or things like that. And some of her thoughts are interesting. She is definitely divided on some of her
I'm awake, but I think I will lay down a little while longer.
Some of her thoughts, like especially dealing with vigilantism, are kind of odd. She has there are two main heroes / vigilantes, and they're kind of recognized by the police, and so she's okay with them and supportive of them. But when she meets Caden and sees his vigilantism, she's very judgmental of him and his methods. And he calls her out on it several times. But Caden is the Lazarus. He works for the king of Burnham City. He's the mafia king. And just kind of lives life by his own rules. Or by the king's rules, anyway. But Caden meets June and kind of like is taken by her right away. And so he's trying to bring her into his world. And as you get further in the book and you learn about his upbringing and his family, you can kind of see where he's okay with this him being the bad guy and her being the good guy. But it's fun so far, so I'm gonna keep reading, and hopefully with whatever this bug is that I have, I can still focus on reading. So I will check in later. Hello everyone. So I am now 2/3 of the way through Vernon City. I'm really enjoying this. We've got a lot of interesting perspectives, or characters in this one. With everything that June sees as being a hero is kind of being tested. And one of the first kind of questions that Caden asks her is, what makes a hero? And to see things go through in this, and him kind of setting up different parts, and pushing June to her limits, is getting her to kind of reevaluate what she sees as a hero and a villain. And she even starts to realize it. And the one thing that I really, though, enjoy about Caden is that there's a stark difference between him and the heroes that June has been kind of forced into their lives. She sees these heroes as their heroes. Titan and Sentinel are, the heroes of the area. But yet when they, and she's their liaison. So when they call or demand things of her, like, there's no choice. It's part of her job. But with Caden, we see a difference. He knows what she would want to do, and yet he still gives her options. And we kind of see this illustrated with the date night that they have. He has two options for her. One, she kind of knows all the details. The other, she only knows half of the details. And Caden knows exactly which one she's going to pick. And yet, he still gives her the choice. It's not a, here's this, I know you're going to choose it. He's here's option A, here's option B. What do you want to do? So it's a neat divide and distinction between who are presented as the good guys versus the villains in this town or in the city, and just the adjustment of their points of view and what it means to be a hero versus a villain. So I'm gonna keep reading, and I will check in at the end of this book. Hello everyone. So I have finished Vernon, or the Lazarus, the first of the Vernon City series. I had a great time with this one. There's a lot that goes on. There were a few things that I did call when I was reading it, and that's completely fine with me. It just is what it is. So, now that I'm finished, star rating, I think I'm going to give this one 4 stars, because there were parts that were predictable, and it wasn't as good as the ones that I've rated as 5 stars this month. So 4 stars, great book. If you like spice, if you like the praise kink, this might be a book for you. So had a great time with it though, and I can't wait to see what I'm going to read next. But that's going to be it for this vlog. So I will see you guys next time.